Yes, I would like to mention another part of the story also. Taking case of my own bank, just to have a record. ICICI Bank, as you have seen a small presentation also by our Honorable MD, it says we not only we stop giving a submission of the roadmap to the RBI, but we meant it. In other words, in other real spirit, we meant it as to what could be the road ahead for implementation as such. I'm really happy to take a note of it and convey to you that within a time-bound period of last 4 years, maybe 4.5 years, ICICI Bank has really taken a lead into this particular sector. More particularly, without looking for a concept like whether this is going to be a gainful exercise, whether this is going to have an insight for my new business areas, without looking into this very, very frankly. As a matter of fun, when we started this activity across locations, across states also, when we approached various government authorities, various regulators, they took us as a surprise. People were upfront, or maybe at the back of us, were asking, why a bank like ICICI Bank would enter into these areas? What they are going to gain, what they are going to get, maybe in short run or long run, maybe directly or indirectly. But our theme, our vision was very clear as to that area of business where we were really not looking at the business, at least a gainful exercise, a gainful business as such. So initially we took this as an exercise out of our own allocation, out of our own resources, but to reach the various economies, to reach the geographies. As a result, if you can say till last year, let me share with you, ICICI Bank's presence for this particular activity project is in more than 18 states, which is again growing day by day. In terms of, if we count in terms of volume of number of accounts under financial inclusion, it is close to 1.5 crores of accounts we opened, and these were uniformly across locations, and more peculiarly in a location, in a geographies which were hitherto totally untouched, where nobody, not only bank, nobody would have dared to touch. Or rather, those structures where no bank would have dared to have a sort of brick and mortar structure over there. Those were the geographies we were selected by, not only by ICICI Bank, but certain other banks also. UPI was another bank who ventured to some extent there. So I would say, yes, to a certain extent, we achieved this. In a second phase, I would say, maybe at a later stage of first phase, some other banks, they also took lead into this particular activity, financial inclusion. I'm happy to keep on record also. This also includes all government banks, private sector banks, along all my partners, along with our bank. And yes, with the advent of PMJDY, Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, as a major, I would say, path breaker, definitely it's going to have a major change to this economy. And definitely, as you have rightly mentioned, going to have some sort of burden, some sort of additional task for bankers. But yes, not only for our own teams, but along with all my service partners, my business correspondents, and all other partners, we are going to achieve this.
Wonderful. I am happy to hear this, and probably what you are proving is that there is, in any activity we do, there is a break-even point. Whether it is close or far from the point you begin is what matters. And I think the Bharat is such a huge market that somebody who is dedicatedly working on that is going to reach that break-even point for sure. It's not going to be a loss and loss and loss activity. I'm now moving to Sandeep, who is actually playing, I won't even call it a stopgap arrangement, I would call it a role playing. Sandeep is my partner in my business, my co-promoter, but he looks after operations and he works with all the customers much more closely. So he has handled the account of Buldana Urban, whose CEO wanted to come, but he decided, I can come today, I am not that badly indisposed. But for the next 10 days, everyone is going to blame him because he got a very severe attack of conjunctivitis. So he said, if I come, I don't leave bad memories with people here. So then we had to condone him. But Sandeep has been working with Buldana Urban very, very closely. Let me tell you about Buldana Urban. In India, we have banks and we have non-banks. Non-banks are the cooperative credit societies. They have a very significant role to play in the economy. And Buldana Urban happens to be among the largest, is the largest cooperative society with a balance sheet total of about 8,000 crore rupees. And this is what they have achieved in a short span of 25 years. They began with a capital of about 15,000 rupees 25 years back. And they have grown into a huge organization with more than 350 branches. And Sandeep has been working on the technology bridge that connects Buldana Urban with the banking sector in terms of sending money and receiving money and doing a lot more things with them. And as a part of project implementation, he has to interact with the team at Buldana. He also interacts with the customers because the customers often come to him with their queries and questions. And then Sandeep is untiring at his work, so he travels to all the nooks and corners. So his knowledge of Buldana is obviously not as much as what Mr. Deshpande would have been able to shed light, but his smart brain has picked up key observations, so I'm going to ask him relevant questions on that. So Sandeep, if you could share your experience of the difference in the transacting habits in the rural or the semi-urban area and in the metropolitan area.